So here I am at Comic-Con 2011. You guys are easy to find.
Oh my God, Crafty, your video.
Look how big it is. We got people selling toys, we got people selling comics, we got people selling DVDs, we got all these weird costumes, but I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm here for one thing only, the artists. So let's go to the artists. One of the best series ever conceived. Hey look, it's a MattBusch.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Right now I'm with MattBusch and he's going to tell us all about his stuff.
Hi, I'm MattBusch and I'm going to tell you all about my stuff. Basically, I'm an artist, but of all different mediums. Most people know me for the work that I do for Star Wars. I do illustrations, but also I've broken into doing like a little bit of animation, a little bit of filmmaking, and basically if it's art, if it's music, any way to express myself, then I enjoy it, and I'm really into it. The most recent thing that I've done is called Hollywood is Dead, where I take classic movie posters, these great images I grew up with as a kid, and I just slaughter them and just make them bloody and zombified, and everyone loves zombies now. Everything is all zombies, so it seems to be going over well. Some people don't like the the blood vomit, but it's love. It's zombie love. What are you gonna do? I don't know why, but everyone keeps seeing the Twilight one that I did, and everyone keeps saying, now this would have been a good movie.
How long have you been doing art professionally?
Oh my gosh. You know what? There was never an overnight thing where I was, a fanboy, and then the next day, guess what? I'm professional now. It's been a long, hard road. You start by illustrating shirts for local bands, you start doing stuff around town, and then eventually you're doing shirts for Ozzy Osbourne and Jessica Simpson and Billy Joel and Beastie Boys and all kinds of fun stuff. But it starts off small, and eventually you get cool little benchmarks on the way, and things happen. One of the big things that I'm starting to jump onto now is kind of moving away from paper, things like books and comic books and prints and posters, which is all cool, and I'll still do that as long as it's around. But right now I'm jumping into doing apps and video games for iPads, iPhones, and that sort of thing, and having a blast with it. I think it's kind of the next thing, I have to ask myself, 5 years from now, are people going to be reading books, or are they going to be using their iPads and their Kindles and all that stuff? People say, oh, books will always be around. Yeah, that's probably what people said about scrolls too. Oh, people, books aren't going to totally take. People love turning their scrolls and reading them this way. Yeah. There's no way that books are going to completely dominate the market. And times are changing quick, so I'm trying to stay on top of it. I just heard that a month ago, the very last company that makes typewriters in the world closed its doors. You can't even get a brand new typewriter anymore. That's a thing of the past, So it's
paper companies themselves are actually losing out on a lot of money for print.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. It's becoming harder and harder. We've gotten, especially with post-PC devices, it's really gotten not only as interesting as to read an actual comic book, it's almost more fun. Like, I don't know if you've checked out like Marvel Comics app. You can get comic books for free, and the way that you zip from panel to panel, it's almost more cinematic. It almost feels more like you're watching a movie or watching something animated than it does when you're reading the comic book, but yet you're still reading it at your own pace. It's almost like you're directing it yourself. So I think it's fun. I think it's really cool. And one of the neat things about like making your own comics online is even if the comics are free, you can still sell merchandise. And that's where people make the most of their money anyway. So you make the comics free, you deliver your art to the world, and then you sell t-shirts, you sell bumper stickers, you sell hats, you do the whole thing. And if it's good, people will love it. People will want the merchandise. They'll want the teddy bears. They'll want the, whatever it is. So, all right, so this is my iPad. This is interactive sketchbook. This is the cover screen. So there's a lot of different things you can do. First of all, you can go through the tutorials. You can pick one of these one of these to go through. So basically you can go through the steps. If you ever don't know what any of this is, like why are we drawing a circle here? You press the information button, and guess what? You can read what that is. That's actually the cranium. You start drawing that over here. You go through all the steps, and eventually what happens is you get to the final piece. And again, anything that you want to know what it's about or whatever, you can hit the information button. There's different layers that you can draw with. It's pretty wild. So then, in addition to just learning how to draw, you also can draw your own material. So if you go to Sketch, okay, so you're drawing over here, right? So here's what you can do that's really wild. You can import your own reference from your photo libraries. So let's say we go here and I want to draw this girl right here. I can go through, I've got the sketch layer, the detail layer, the tone layer. I can draw all this in here. But let's say you want to use this almost like a projector and you want to trace. You can take this binder right here and you slide it right over, and guess what? You're drawing on top of your photo reference. If you ever want to look at it without, I didn't do a very good job tracing it just there, but you can actually use it, and if you want to see it side by side again, there it is. And guess what? You can pinch and zoom anywhere that you want. If you want to get in really close to the eye, to draw the eye over here, there you go. So this is like the latest thing. And then of course, from there, what you can do is all of the art that you create, you put in your portfolio. And so I've got pages and pages of different artwork. This right here, there's a sketch I did of, this is me and my fiance. These are our puppets. So I did this really cool drawing of them. Then you can email them to your friends. You can save it in your photos. You can post it on your Facebook, and you can share them forever. Here's the greatest thing about interactive sketchbook. Guess what? You never run out of paper, ever. You get interactive sketchbook, you will never buy a sketchbook again. It's awesome.
So I guess final word, do you have any advice for any budding artists out there?
I do. You know what? Keep at it. Stay with it, regardless of what it is you're going into. Whatever you want to do, make your dreams come true. Stay with it and investigate. When I was growing up, we didn't have the internet and that sort of thing. We had to do as much research as we could in a library. And for this area, there aren't really books on how to make it as a pop culture artist. Yeah. So we had to figure out, make a lot of mistakes. But now everything is online. We've got the world at your fingertips. There's so many neat things that you guys can do. You guys don't even realize you have all this information at your fingertips. A lot of people say now is not a good time to get into this stuff. I say there's never been a better time to do what you want, to make your dreams happen. Someone in their camcorder and a laptop can make the next blockbuster of next year. Where, oh my God, going to film school before, all that stuff, it was ridiculous expensive. Now anyone can do it. If you have an idea and a dream and you've got the wherewithal to actually go after your goals, you can do it. My heart is broken. I'm officially a jerk. You know why? About a half hour ago, this little cute kid dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, he sees my Toy Story piece from across the aisleway, thinks it's Toy Story. Cute little kid dressed up as Buzz Lightyear comes running up, and instantly tears just down his face. His face turns red. He starts crying looking at the zombified Buzz Lightyear. I'm such a jerk. I feel awful.
Mice struggle to live safely and prosper among all of the world's harsh conditions and predators. The Mouse Guard, a selfless group of cloaked mice, keep the common mouse safe from predators, weather, and the wilderness. It matters not what you fight, but what you fight for.
Okay, I am here with David Petersen, and he's going to tell us all about his stuff.
My name is David Petersen. I'm the creator and artist on a book called Mouse Guard. It's a medieval fantasy comic about mice with swords who fend off all the predators of the world that are trying to get at them. You can find out more about Mouse Mouseguard and my work at mouseguard.net. In the meantime, I can show you that I've done 2 volumes so far of Mouseguard. Fall, which starts off the story, and Winter, which is the follow-up. I'm in the middle of the 3rd series now, called The Black Axe, and I just finished issue 2 just came out, and when we get to issue 6, I'll collect that as a hardcover like the other 2 that I just showed you.
What inspired you for Mouseguard in the first place?
Part of it's my love of animal stories, things like Wind in the Willows, Aesop's Fables, Rudyard Kipling stuff, things like Disney's Robin Hood. Also, like I said, my enjoyment of playing fantasy role-playing games with friends. And then also, I was in Boy Scouts, and so there's some of that, like joining an organization and rising up in the ranks and having these kind of outdoorsy, patrol-y type duties and responsibilities. And so it's just kind of an amalgamation of all that. It's basically a series where I can draw all the stuff I want to draw and tell a fun story at the same time. I launched Mouseguard in 2005, so 6 years ago, actually at this show. I wouldn't have considered myself a professional at that time. I was still working a day job, so I think I quit my day job in 2007 or 2008, somewhere in there.
That just picks up gradually. That's how it usually is with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I probably could have stopped earlier than that, but I wanted to be sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a mortgage to pay, and it was like, I'd rather get a bunch of sleepless nights where I'm doing comics at night and still having to get up to commute to the day job to make sure that mortgage is going to be paid, make sure I have health insurance still, those kind of things. And I didn't bail on the real job until this was going full steam ahead enough that I had the faith.
What made you think of making a role-playing game out of it? Because that didn't seem like anything that would ever occur to me.
I was a big role player as a kid, and it actually inspired some of the mice are based on friends of mine. So there were character interactions that we had in Dungeons and Dragons kind of gaming groups that I thought that'd be fun to instill into a comic, and so there was some of that already there. I was a fan, and fans of my work started asking, where's the role-playing game? When is this going to be a role-playing game? Well, I'd be open to that, and the right guy came along for the job, Luke Crane, who already had a successful line of role-playing games on his own system called the Burning Wheel system. And Luke said, I want to do a Mouseguard game. So we had a chat, and I realized he was the right man for the job. And this is why, one of the reasons that Luke was the right man for the job. Luke was willing to take his own system, his proprietary system, Burning Wheel, and instead of trying to make Mouseguard fit Burning Wheel, he made Burning Wheel fit Mouseguard. He altered his base system to fit Mouseguard because we didn't want a Mouseguard role-playing game to be essentially Dungeons and Dragons, except you happen to be mice. We needed to custom make rules that fit the fact that you're mice, that fit the world, the scale, that seasons are just as important as your character attributes, that having a character is more important than having a set of stats. So it's very much designed to be a Mouseguard role-playing game.
I can't think of any role-playing game like this other than maybe Bunnies and Burrows from what I've shipped down from way back when.
Yeah, the old Steve Jackson Bunnies and Burrows. I remember that.
Yeah. Your style is quite different than anything else I've seen. I mean, like, there's not really much in way of like big eyes or anything like that, but yet they can able to convey actual emotions really well.
The first couple issues, the eyes were bigger, and I realized the smaller I made them, actually the more I could make them emote, the more I could give them subtle changes. Because with the big eye, if I changed the shape, it seemed very drastic.
Right.
Kind of the smaller and beadier I made their eyes, not only did they become more expressive, but it made them more mouse-like in a way. When I went away from the actual physical, the way a mouse really looks, their eyes are pretty good size on their head, but the smaller I made them in the drawings, the more mouse-like they actually became.
Mm-hmm. with Legends, you had a bunch of artists contribute their own stories to the overall universe, but still kept it fitting within that. Was there ever any ideas you have for maybe like a spin-off series that you would even allow like another artist or even a writer to take on it? And
I don't think I really foresee a time where I can let go, at least not yet, of any of the main series. That was the beauty of Legends, was that none of it had to fit any of my timelines or continuity or anything. These were tall tales. If I want to now inject some of the ones that I feel are really fitting, right, I can kind of pepper some of the legends into actual stories. I can make reference back to the tall tales, the ones that I think were more outrageous and where they deviated more. That was a lot of fun for Legends. I don't have to pay attention to it in the actual series, but it was perfect for the Legends series. It was a big romp, and we're going to do more Legends. After Black Axe is done, we've got another full lineup of about 15 creators ready to do more stories.
Yeah, because it's really great, because basically you can do anything you want and you won't have raging fanboys like, why did this happen?
Right. I shouldn't have any continuity errors or overlaps that way. In fact, even if tall tales start to conflict with one another, that in a way almost bolsters the reality of them, because that is what tall tales tend to do.
They get embellished and they get changed.
Yeah, they overlap and contradict. So yeah, I gave the creators some rules, some base rules of things that belong in Mouse Guard or don't belong in Mouse Guard. Right. But as long as they played by the and also things like I try to keep the animals native to this Michigan area. No gratuitous violence. No adult, sexual scenes or sexual tension. Right. No adult language. Right. But other than that, you keep the setting roughly the same. You keep the content geared in the right direction. Have fun. And even with some of those, I bent. Another rule was don't use any of my existing characters or existing events. Like, don't do a Black Axe story. Don't do a Winter War story or something about the Weasels or the Weasel War. Right. You do a Weasel story, just don't do something about the Weasel War.
So that's another series you have planned.
I'm doing that. Yeah. Don't contradict my stuff. But I even said, if in the email that we sent out to creators, if you are dead set, if you've got a story in mind that breaks my rules, talk to me. The rule might not be absolute, and there were a couple exceptions, two major ones. One with an animal species. Somebody wanted to do a story with a lion and some hyenas. That's not native to this area, obviously. And I said, as long as you don't use the word lion in the story, because none of the other characters would know what a lion is. Yeah. You just have to give me the visual of a lion, but describe what a lion is, and it works perfectly. In fact, it fits more the idea of a big myth that way. And then another person said, I really want to do a story about Sadie, and we just made sure that it wouldn't contradict any timeline with Sadie. So. Right.
Was there any other big projects you have in mind other than Mouse Guard? Was there a set time where you think you might just finish the series and start a new series?
I have a couple ideas for some other series. I think there's maybe only one of them that I'm as dedicated to doing personally as Mouse Guard, but even still, I don't think there's ever really going to be a good occasion for me to jump ship with this and launch something else that's going to be that personal. I can't do two projects that are this personal, because I'll always be neglecting one of them. Right. So my guess is I'm going to end up probably handing those off and just keeping a hand in some of the development, but
approving the story, like, okay, this is good, keep going.
Yeah, I'm ultimately just going to have to let that go and have somebody else do those projects, because it's not worth sacrificing Mouse Guard for.
Right. I think that's pretty much it. Okay. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
On a long journey to Glenstone, I sailed right into its shade. There before me
CraftyArts@Comic-Con. I am here with Jeremy, and he's going to tell us all about his stuff.
Okay. Well, my name's Jeremy Bastian. I do a book called Cursed Pirate Girl. The story is about an orphan girl who decides it's time to go out and find her father, but all she knows about him is that he's a pirate captain on the Emeritus Seas. Nobody believes her because there is no such place, but she makes her way to the Emeritus, and then she has to go from pirate ship to pirate ship trying to figure out who her dad is and stuff like that. I do all the work at scale, so what you see is exactly how big I drew it, and it's all done with a brush. And this is the collection for Volume 1. This collects issues 1 through 3, and there's a 4-page epilogue. I'm currently working on the next one, so it's going to be a while before that comes out, but you can find my work at jeremybastion.blogspot.com, and that's me.
So did you have like a big breaking moment, or is it just kind of gradual over time?
I self-published issue 1 like 5 years ago, and I took it to my first outside of Michigan show, because originally I'm from Ypsilanti. I live in Plymouth, Michigan now. But I took it to Chicago, and from that show I got a publisher who was really interested in publishing it, so that was sort of like the first big break, and somebody actually saying they'll put up the money and print it for me.
Right. What would you say inspired your works the most?
Well, my favorite comic book artist is probably Mike Mignola, followed closely by Guy Davis and Art Adams. I think just their scope on what they do in comics is a little bit more than just comics. Artistically, outside of the comic realm, I would say Arthur Rackham, Gustave Doré. The list sort of goes on and on.
Yeah.
But a lot of the old world illustrators, Walter Crane, Joseph Clement Cole, Franklin Booth. Sort of an antiquated style of illustration.
Right. All right. I'm here with Alex, and he's going to talk about his stuff for us.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Alex Buechel, and this is my stuff. I am a Star Wars artist. That's what I do primarily. Work a lot with Topps, trading cards company. I have a lot of those to show you in a minute. Illustrator, been doing it for about 7 years now, and let's take a look. All traditional painting. I do everything by pencil, paint it all with acrylics, do some color pencil touch-ups at the end. Sometimes gouache, but I like acrylic better. And I went to Macomb and studied for digital illustration. I didn't like the digital part of it, so I took some fine arts courses. Didn't like that either. So I found my way, by accident, an old illustrator by the name of Ron Reed got me started with it. Took some classes, and then just jumped into this thing and loved it. Now I can't stop.
What was the thing that turned you off about fine arts?
You know, it was the fact that I wanted to paint things that look like stuff. You know, I didn't like splashing paint. I didn't like just dancing around or gluing hot plates.
I have to explain to people what it is.
Exactly, and then putting a $30,000 name tag on something that has like a paper plate glued to a canvas. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I like drawing people. I like drawing stuff. I like people to know what I'm drawing.
Oh, everyone in the fine arts community now hates you.
Oh man, they hate me since a long time ago.
Yeah, they don't come to places like this, so I think you're safe.
I think we're called sellout artists here. It's a mean term. I don't know.
Yeah.
This one I just finished a few days ago, and since she was going to be here, I decided to make it extra special. So just a portrait right now, because that's what I wanted, and then she signed it for me too, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
That's gonna go. I got a little signed copy.
I am here with Mike Wall at Comic-Con, and he is going to tell us all about his stuff.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm a local artist and illustrator. I work on a book called Apuka, the World's Most Adorable Zombie, and the title kind of says it all. She's very cute. She loves to play with animals, but every now and then she gets hungry, so she's got to eat something. It all started, my friend John is the one who wrote it, and he just came up with this idea. We were just kicking around ideas, and it was one of the things that we worked on together, and we turned it into this book, and that's what we've been going with.
How long has it been going on for now?
It's been a couple of years now. We started out, and
things are picking up good?
Yep. Oh yeah, yep. It's great.
Any other major projects you have going on right now? Other than that?
We're working on a third Apuka, which should be out in time for fall.
Let's see. Where did you get your start in arts, or how long have you been doing it professionally?
Professionally, it's been. Sorry, I have to think back here. Since about 98. I got a book that I did with my dad. It's called The Trains of Christmas, and that's kind of like our other big hit. And, that's going good. That's about the passing down toy trains for the family from generation to generation.
I think that pretty much covers it. Alright, I am here with Mike Bocianowski. Okay, I'll get his name right eventually. Bocianowski. Okay, hope that's right. Alright. Anyways, I'm here with Mike Bocianowski, and he's going to tell us all about his stuff.
Hi, my name's Mike Bocianowski. My last name rhymes with ocean, and I'm the creator of Yets. And Yets are little critters who have no name as of yet. And it's actually a whole series about an adventuring guinea pig and a chihuahua that go looking for wild dragons in the magic tree world. And then it gets weird. It's an all-ages series recommended by Comics Buyer's Guide. You can find me at www.artistmb.com and check out my blog on the front page too.
How long has Yets been going on now?
Yets have been going on since about 2003. It started with a print with a bunch of animals and a great big ship, and somebody said, write a story about it.
Good enough excuse.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing art professionally, or just...
Professionally since about 1987. I've been an art director. I taught animation for 5.5 years at Edinburgh University. I published comic books, everything.
Any big projects going on right now you have in mind other than Yets, or?
Right now I just want to really get Yets licensed. I have a couple options right now. I'd like to see it as an animated series and take it as far as I can go. Right now I've been asked for a special guest at the Condor Convention in San Diego. It's a science fiction and fantasy convention, the oldest one in San Diego, so I'm a guest of honor there.
What's Chuck the Ugly American about?
Chuck the Ugly American is about a guy who hates everything except for one thing. And that's what the whole series is all about. In the first book, he dies, he goes to heck, fights the devil, meets a woman he loves, has a cup of coffee, and lives to tell about it. That's just in the first 100 pages.
Is Chuck based on anyone you know in particular, or?
Yeah, he's based off of my friend's uncle, who is a paranoid schizophrenic. God rest his soul. He's a nice person, but he's a little crazy. Yeah, this guy would actually put road flares out in the middle of his road because some doggone kid's gonna come over and run him over. So when he was backing out of the driveway, I really get inspiration from all over. I've been told I'm the new Walt Kelly because my style is similar to Pogo and the Walt Kelly comic strips. And really, I get inspiration from all around me. I like doing family-oriented cartoons right now because I think families should actually get together and enjoy a good story too.
Really lacking.
God gave me all my talent, really.
Yeah.
It's my gift from God.
All right. Thank you for your time, man.
Hey, thanks a lot.
No problem. All right. I am here with Bill Pulkovski. All right. Bill Pulkovski. I got his name right this time. And he is going to tell us all about his stuff here at Comic-Con 2011.
Hello all, I'm Bill. I'm a professional illustrator. I've done work for Lucasfilm, Marvel, some other properties like Universal Monsters and such. And this is my stuff. It's one of my more recent pieces, and it's Boba Fett and Han Solo and Carbonite in the background. I was lucky enough to meet Jeremy Bullock last year, and he plays Boba Fett. He signed the original for me.
Was there any big projects you had in mind that are coming up, or?
Coming up, I'm doing some trading cards for Vampirilla, and I'm also doing Marvel Universe, which is produced by Rittenhouse, but Marvel licensed characters. So that's what's next. And you can visit my website to keep up with that at www.billpulkovski.com. Also, next I'll be at OriginCon in Columbus, and then San Diego Comic-Con in San Diego, California.
Great. I'm here with Nia Ruffino, and she's going to tell us all about her stuff here at Comic-Con 2011.
Hello. I am a colorist, also pencil artist. We're here selling exclusives for the show. Something I drew in color for the show. Prints, things like that. It's my first time to Detroit. The website, I guess.
Yeah.
You can find me. It's DeviantArt is my only up and running site right now. It's BakaneKonei. Currently working on Green Lantern Corps, Birds of Prey, and getting ready to start a couple of Flashpoint books for DC this summer, Wonder Woman and Canterbury Cricket. I collectors, things like that.
How long have you been doing art professionally?
Professionally, I tattooed for 5 years before I did comics, and I've been coloring. It'll be 5 years in August.
Was there like a moment where you just had like a big break, or has it just kind of been gradual over time so far?
No, well, the big thing, getting my first job at DC, then it really takes off after that because you get a lot of exposure.
Yeah, they make sure of that too. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. What?
I just bought artwork from her.
I know.
Oh my god, it's flipping epic. She's awesome.
Part-time approves. Give us a thumbs up. There we go.
She's epic.
And I'm here with Dev Madan.
Hi, how are you doing?
Dev, why don't you tell us about your artwork, please?
Sure. So, I'm actually a guest this year for AnthroCon for the work I've done on a franchise called Sly Cooper. I was the art director, the character designer, as well as a bunch of the writing for the game. So I've been here meeting all kinds of fans who have been absolutely incredible, and I've just been having a ball at the show.
So tell us, how has AnthroCon been treating you?
AnthroCon has been an amazing experience. It's been just so much fun meeting all these really, really great creative people. The staff and the people who put the show on are just a top shelf, first class group of guys. I even brought some friends out with me, and they're taking care of them. My friends weren't even sure they wanted to come in the first place, but wanted to visit Pittsburgh, but have ended up spending all their time at the show. So they haven't seen it. They've seen about as much as Pittsburgh as I have, which is not a lot. Pretty much the West End and here, and that's about all of Pittsburgh we've seen.
So, any other words you'd like to say before we wrap up this interview?
Just that everybody at the show has been super, super awesome. I've really enjoyed meeting everybody, and I hope to be back.
Where can we find you at next?
So I pretty much spend the summers trying to just get to all the different conventions. I'll usually do WonderCon, usually do the Seattle Emerald City Comic Con, because that's where I'm from, Seattle. And I don't know about San Diego this year or not. Usually at the comic shows, I'm usually at the table.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you so much for the interview.
I am Sar, the dragon god of potatoes.
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 Potatoes. We are at Origins 2019, and behind me here is the booth of Dasuedragon, the creator of most of the wares you see on this character. And here is the dragon himself.
I am Sar, the dragon god of potatoes.
What are you selling at this convention, and what is your big plans and goals for this year?
Well, I'm selling leather, and I'm also promoting my Kickstarter, which is leather folding dice towers. My goals for the year are to keep my house.
So tell us about this dice tower and what makes it so special.
Well, they're made out of leather, real leather, and they fold flat. Flat as a pancake.
Special feature! Explosively!
Quiet, you say?
Yes. Quieter than any old dice tower, I'll tell you that much.
So quiet that your DM didn't even notice that you didn't roll a 20.
You think like I do. Well, guys, we're here at Origin 2019. If you want to check out Dasuedragon's wares with Sar here, the dragon god of potatoes, go to their Facebook page. Just look for Dasuedragon Designs. Is that correct, Sar?
Dasuedragon Designs, yep.
Awesome. Go check them out. DASUE Dragon Designs. And I'm here with the creators of Paragon, Trials of the Chosen. Guys, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Ryan Hull. I'm Adam Testerman.
So guys, tell me a little bit more about your game here.
Yeah, so Paragon Trials of the Chosen is an expandable card game. Everything comes in one box, 272 cards. In Paragon, you are playing a demigod that we call a Paragon. And in order to do combat with your rival Paragons, you must choose 2 mortals on the material plane that you're vesting your energy in. And so you're bringing 2 avatars, 2 of 16 avatars that we include in the box to do combat. Those avatars come from disciplines like chronomancy, pyromancy, shadow, marksmanship. So your warriors, your rogues, your mages, your clerics from our universe, and we have a really unique take on all of them with some really great art and design work. And then in Paragon, you are also going to play a really interesting turn system. So we kind of have a turn and a round system where the game is far more strategic than maybe a lot of collectible card games or other expandable card games you see on the market, where it's a little more Chessian, a little more deterministic because of that. And one big feature of Paragon is there's actually no luck. So you never roll a die, you never flip a coin. And in fact, the 20 card deck that you're building to bring to the game that you build out of the 272 cards is actually pre-order. You order it in the order of your choosing. And so it's a really unique aspect of our game in that we're avoiding luck entirely. We're really working hard to make sure that the game is quite strategic that way. When you combine the no luck, the real excellent selection of avatars, and then the unique turn ordering system, it really becomes a very strategic game. So yeah, we're really proud of it, really happy. Love the feedback we've gotten here at Origins. People have been really excited about it, so we couldn't be happier.
Me and Kieran played this game, and we absolutely loved it. We loved it so much, and these guys are amazing. They gave us some wonderful, wonderful swag bag options and everything else, and even an autograph card. So these are great guys. Wonderful game. So Adam, why don't you tell us a little bit? What's the if people are going to ask, like, well, what's it like? Because people like to compare a lot. What would you say it's like to give the audience here and future fans a little understanding of it, so they're not a little scared or worried?
So if you're familiar with something like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, those are probably the closest comparisons, even though the game itself is very different from them. So for example, like Ryan mentioned, the game has no luck, so you don't shuffle or anything like that. You order your deck. And then the other thing that really sets the game apart, again, is the turn system. So I'll take an action, and then my opponent will take an action. So it's just one at a time, as opposed to some of the other games where you might lay out all your cards in one turn, and then your opponent will do the same. So timing becomes very important there as well.
And that's something we noticed yesterday when we played. It was a lot of fun and a lot of strategy. So this game is all about your wits, folks. And that's what makes the thing the best. But either way, I want to thank you both so much. Do you have anything else you want to add before we end?
Well, I appreciate the support. We're on Facebook and Twitter right now. We actually have a Board Game Geek page up. We've been traveling for about a year and a half, going to conventions to demonstrate it. We've been working on the game for about 3 years, and we're going on Kickstarter here in August. So just around Gen Con time, just shortly before or just shortly after, we'll be on Kickstarter. So we would love to have the support.
What's on Kickstarter your page? What do you guys go under? Is it just Paragon.com?
Yeah, so we'll be Paragon Trials of the Chosen, and our website is ParagonECG.com, so you can watch us there. Midwinter Mages on Twitter, and Midwinter Mages and Paragon Trials of the Chosen on Facebook. So yeah, just trying to get the word out, hopefully get the support, kickstart in August, and then get the game in gamers' hands as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Anything you want to say, Adam, before we close?
That's it. We just hope to have everyone's support and get this game out the door.
Great. Thanks so much, guys. We're here at Origins 2019, and I am with...
Hi, I'm Heather Caliphate with Amusing Designs.
And so we're looking at her wonderful, beautiful bags that she's got crossed all over this very nice setup. So tell us more about your product, Heather.
Okay. Well, I make a number of products, and one of the products I make is I embroider on bags, usually canvas bags, because I like the durability of them. So we do embroidery actually on the bags. We have them in a ranging of sizes, colors, patterns. We try to adhere to some fandoms. We try to get some fantasy creatures like the kitsune. We have everything from fairies to dragons to rainbows to unicorns to some inspired by certain television shows. And we do some original art, and we also support a lot of other artists, local and abroad. And then we put them on our bags and we sell them. We also make custom dice bags from scratch and do glass etching, actually.
Very, very nice. So I have a question. Do you also do custom embroidery if someone sent you something?
Absolutely. So we have done items for Kickstarters for companies. We do other gaming stores logos. We do other businesses logos. We do clubs logos. So we take art files and then can make a appropriate design to put on our bags, our dice bags, shirts, hats. So we do a lot of that.
Well, I'm going to have to definitely check you out for a custom embroidery for my belt flags here. Absolutely. So thank you very much. And anything you'd like to say before we end?
Well, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Amusing Designs, and you can also find us at amusingdesigns.com.
So at amusingdesigns.com.
Yep, and it's plural.
Plural. Okay, cool. So good. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for staying with us this con. And anyways, we'll see you next time at Gen Con.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Hello, guys. We're back at Origins 2019, and I'm here with Adam
McCrimmon.
And Adam, why don't you tell us about your company and the games that you brought here today for Origin?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at Origins here. We've got Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Robot Tea Party, a game we co-published with Nirvana Game Studios. Inoka, which is Fighting Chipmunks, and Ravelry, our newest title that's coming to Kickstarter in September of this year. It is focused on crafting and knitting.
It's very, very interesting. I find this to be the most interesting game here because it's so different than anything else that we have here. We have fighting squirrels, we have Borderlands, and then knitting.
Crafting, yeah. So we really felt like we wanted to make something that is not done very often. The crafting and knitting community does not have enough games for them, and we know that a lot of board gamers are crafters and knitters. So we made a game that is focused on what it's like for them to complete projects and make things, and it's very tactile.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's like, that's actually very true. That's actually very true. A lot of us do knit, a lot of us do crochet, so it is very, very true. It's just interesting to see something like this. So I'm actually curious. So let's go through a quick little round here, and just tell me exactly what are the steps and what to expect.
All right, so in UndrH Ravelry, you are a crafter of one of 4 different archetypes that each have their own asymmetric power, and they are going to be competing to complete items, or to craft items, complete projects, and then score points. So as you play the game, it's action selection, so you're going to have 4 different options of what you can do, and some of those are going to be shopping, so you visit the yarn bazaar and get new yarn. Some are going to be crafting, where you discard yarn to the supply in order to make an item. And then others are going to be things like frog it, which is to take something down that you've already made, or maybe exchange your yarn with somebody else. Each player is going to have 5 patterns that they can make. 2 of them are the same for every player. Hats and blankets, everyone has the same recipe for hats and blankets. The 3 in the middle, which are bear, mittens, and scarves, those are variable. So there's over 200 combinations in the game of what you might end up with in regards to what are your bears, what are your mittens, what are your scarves. So for instance, in this game, you've got red bears, I've got orange bears. You've got blue and green mittens, and I've got orange and purple mittens. So it creates a little bit of a back and forth in regards to what color yarn you actually go for. Speaking of getting yarn, the way that works is you're going to choose the shop action, and then you'll get to take up to 2 cards worth of yarn. So what you might do is you might choose to say, hey, I want this red and I want this blue. You'll discard these, and then of course draw a red and draw a blue yarn ball. You add those to your own supply. Once you've done that, you reveal cards from the deck, and sometimes you're going to get yarn, or you may also get some other things instead of yarn. In this case, maybe you get a special request from someone that they really want you to make them an octopus, a cute little octopus. This is like in the crafting community. When you are a crafter, people find out and they go, oh, can you make me this thing? I really want you to make me this thing, right? So in this case,
happens all the time.
We got an octopus. Now, you as the active player, you can choose, do you want to take on the project to make the octopus? Or do you want to give it to another player and force them to take it on? Because whoever takes this, the very next thing they make has to be that octopus and nothing else. So in this case, let's say you go ahead and take it on yourself. You decide, yeah, you know what, I'm going to make the octopus for you because it is worth points at the end of the game, so maybe you want to do that. The other thing that can show up in this deck is every once in a while an event will happen. That event might be you get a really friendly clerk at the store and all players get some free yarn. Or it could be a targeted event where a tangled cat shows up and then you get to choose a player and that player can't craft for their very next turn. So maybe you give that one to me to make sure that you slow me down a little bit. Aside from that, you'll get yarn in the deck. Now, once you've finished with the yarn bazaar and you got in those things, then you can craft your items. So in that case, you just discard yarn from your bowl. So in this case, let's say we discard a couple, a red or a green and a blue here, blue and a green, and we make a hat. Now, that item goes on our board, and along with the other items we already have, we can combine these together to fulfill projects. So in this case, we'll combine a couple hats and some mittens, and we'll make stargazers. We'll make one of the projects. So those are going to be points you're going to get at the end of the game. This deck here is your project list, and this is this is the timer for the game. The number of projects you put in the list decide how long the game's going to be. So near the end of the game, the project list will look like this. You'll have 3 projects left, and somebody will claim one of them. That will trigger endgame. At that point, every player is going to have a chance to knit one item or craft one item using just the yarn they already have left around the table. After that, you're going to add up your points for any special projects that you finished for people, the regular projects you finished, and any of these items that you crafted but never used in a project. So the last thing here is once you've added up all your points, you're going to subtract the value of yarn you still have in your bowl from your point total, because that's your basket of shame. And that's Arch Ravelry.
And that's really, really interesting. I actually, when this game goes live on Kickstarter, I'll definitely look to support it and pick it up, because you don't see things like this very often. It's the games that are the most eccentric and eclectic that become the most fun and the most creative and the ones that you always come back to. And so I'm really, really glad you showed me this. Real quick, can you explain? Let's do Inoka real quick. And so over here we're at Inoka, and is it pronounced Inoka?
Yeah. So it's Inoka, yeah.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about this game.
So Inoka is a clashing card game for 2 to 4 players. Essentially, the base mechanic is like rock, paper, scissors. It's meant to be a game you play in 5 to 7 minutes while you're waiting in line or while you're sitting, having a beer with somebody. And the idea is that you've got 3 tactics. You got attack, taunt, and block. Attack beats block, or taunt beats block beats attack. Each player is going to start with the same 9 cards. They'll have this beautiful art. And they're going to choose 5 of them, and then they're just going to go back and forth clashing, revealing 1 card at a time, trying to win the leaf totem, and then ultimately secure some sacred stones. The first person to claim 3 sacred stones wins.
That's really simple. When does this one go live?
This one's actually already live. We kickstarted this last year. It was about 900% funded. This is the release year for it, so it's been out for a couple months, and you can currently you'll be able to get it on Amazon soon. Not quite yet, but you also can buy it here at Origins and Gen Con.
Do you have a copy for me?
Do I have a copy for you? Yeah, sure, I got a copy for you.
Cool, I got $10.
Great.
It's 10, right?
It's 15, it's fine.
I'll give 15. Ready? Okay, so now we're at the Borderlands game. This one I want to put my hood up for because it seems a little bit too cool for me. So tell me a little bit more about this one.
Yeah, so Borderlands Tiny Tina's Robot Tea Party is the first wide release board game in the Borderlands universe. In this game, you are attending a tea party with Tina. She has made a party game for us, and that game is to build and disassemble claptraps. So in the game, you're going to have 5 different claptraps you can choose from. You're going to have Gentleman, Pirate, Original Claptrap, Sheriff, and Wizard, and you're going to go back and forth building Claptrap. You're going to put hats and arms and wheels on it. You're going to try and mess up your opponents by putting the wrong parts on theirs and the right parts on yours. And then as you go through the game, you're going to have a couple of known Borderlands characters that come in to help you out, either speed you up or slow down your opponent.
Very, very interesting.
It's available for it's been available since PAX East, and you can get it at tinytinagames.com, or you can get it along with the rest of your Gearbox or your Borderlands 3 loot at gearboxloot.com.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So do you have anything to say before we end this interview?
I just want to say, hey, thanks. Origins has been great. This is the last interview I'm doing before the end of Origins, so it's good to get out of here, get back to real life for a little while. In regards to Arch Ravelry, if you like crafting and knitting, then please go to archravelry.com, join the mailing list, and we will let you know as soon as the game hits Kickstarter. And in regards to Borderlands, I want to thank our partners Nirvana Game Studios and Gearbox Software for working on this game. And you know what, everybody? We'll see you at Gen Con.
Yes, we'll see you at Gen Con.
13 years ago, the greatest invention in the city of Cloudy Days history was built. A water tower which could turn clouds into liquid water saved the city from a years-long drought. I will become the greatest plumber hero this city has ever seen.
Okay, you gotta lift it. You gotta lift it from the bottom up. Come on, you can do it.
Hello, I am Craftyandy here at Origins Game Fair, and we're going to be talking about UndrH20 with Courtney. Courtney, what is UndrH20 about?
UndrH20 is a game about a plumber hero, or a young one rather, who is kind of going through the trials of life and has to deal with family drama, school politics and stuff to keep him from actually being a plumber hero himself. And so, you know, he goes on an adventure and learns a lot about his family and why the city is treating him the way that he is so far.
Okay, so it goes a lot deeper than what it initially appears to be. Okay, amazing. So what does the gameplay consist of?
Well, we're kind of calling it an adventure tower defense or room defense kind of game, where you are, you know, in a room, and as it's being attacked by, you know, one source or another, the room floods, and you have to figure out ways of using your tools to kind of shut it all down and keep it at a steady, no water on to the knees kind of level.
And how long has this been in development now?
It's been in development about 5 years now, but since COVID started and everything, we definitely did a rebranding and redesign of the original game and have come out with a very much more grounded story-based aspect, but we have an arcade mode and things of that coming in the future.
Okay, so yeah, so you have a story mode, single player mode, is there a multiplayer mode or anything like that in the works, or co-op?
Not at this moment. We're really focusing in on the single player aspects. Though, of course, we would love the idea of having multiple people, but, you know, kind of with the process being as it is, it's been more than enough just to get the story and arcade down. But once we do, we'll definitely look forward to other options.
Right. Right now, is, you know, it's better to focus on one thing than to try to divide it up amongst others. Yes, exactly.
Well, all was good until an evil supervillain named the Flood broke the tower, spilling millions of gallons of water onto the city, killing thousands. If it weren't for 5 incredible plumbers, more would have died. And not only that, they saved the water tower, in turn saving the city. Those 5 plumbers became known as the Plumber Heroes, who continue to protect the city to this day. They're heroes I aspire to become. But there's just one problem. The Flood, he was my dad.
When can this be expected to be out?
You can expect to see it on the Oculus App Lab, hopefully by the end of the year, but we plan on, you know, releasing it late 2022.
And any plans of like expanding upon just the initial game, or any DLC or anything like that?
Yeah, so we're definitely thinking more towards the episodic aspect of VR games, where, you know, you get one episode, and then as we get more and more ability to make more, then we kind of build on the episodes from there. But right now we're looking at a solid episode 1, and that's currently our main focus.
Where can we find more information on the game itself, and is there any chance that a demo will be available beforehand?
Yeah, so you can kind of expect it on the Oculus App Lab, hopefully by the end of the year. But you can also check out UndrH20, spelled exactly like that. Just Google it, pretty much. And then we also are Guesswork VR on all social media, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things like that.
Okay, perfect. Well, that was UndrH20. I'm here with Courtney here at Origins. Have a nice day.
My name is Marco, and I've spent most of my teenage years in my workshop creating a device more amazing, more mythical, and way more cool than the water tower. Something that will free the city from resting its hopes on a single machine. Even though everyone around me thinks my destiny is to become a supervillain, I'll prove them all wrong. I'm not my father. I will become the greatest plumber hero this city has ever seen.
Eternal youth.
Hello, I am Craftyandy here at Origins, and I am with
Paul Young.
Paul Young, what do you do?
So I own the company PyeGames, which is a 3D printing company. And what we generally do is 3D print dice that are fidget spinners as well. So this is a D20 that is printed all in one piece, and it comes off the printer spinning like that. So basically what we've done is taking the probability of an actual D20, and we flattened it out a little bit, and we put it into this fidget spinner type toy, but we also sell the full dice sets too.
So you have an alternative to just rolling the same old six-sided dice all the time. Okay.
That's right. We've had some incidences at our house where kids will roll the dice, it'll pop off the table and land in the vent or something like that, where under the couch where we can't find it, and we needed something that was a little different, but still intrigued the kids down there. So,
and where can they pick one of these up?
So on our website we have our shop that is PyeGames.com, PYEGames.com, and if your local game store is looking to stock something like this in their store, we have wholesale options on the website as well, and then just get in contact with me.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, there you have it. Now we just have to worry about the plague. What doesn't kill you mutates and tries again. Hello, I am Craftyandy here at Origins Game Fair, and I am standing with one of the creators of Team Nemo. They're working on a game based on Little Nemo. Tell us what the game is all about.
Sure, so this is Little Nemo and the Nightmare Fiends. It is a hand-animated tribute to Winsor McCay, the creator of the Little Nemo comics. It's all based around the comics from the early 19th century, plus some of his other works that, we've thrown in.
Who's the lead designer in all of this?
So there are three of us on the team right now. I'm the programmer. Chris Totten is the primary artist. He's done all of the beautiful artwork so far. And then Adrian Sandoval is our main designer. He's working on all the levels and the level design.
Perfect. So is this all your first game, or?
No, I've actually shipped 20 odd games. All of us have actually shipped a bunch of titles before.
Okay. So you're all very experienced, in other words, yes?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
What does the gameplay consist of?
So it's sort of like a Metroidvania. It's broken up into a bunch of different dreamscapes that Nemo will visit. And then each of those plays out in its own sort of mini Metroid-style kind of adventure. And then eventually you're going to collect all of your friends. There's 4 characters total. You can swap between them at any times and use their different skills to help explore the levels.
Okay, so different abilities, different characters. I can see that's how it's going to separate itself from different Metroidvanias, because most of the time you're just stuck with one character.
Yeah, so we're visiting a lot of the main locations that Nemo visits during the comic run. If you read the comics, a lot of it's like he visits the ice level, he visits the sky level. We're kind of taking those comics in those locations and really expanding on those different elements. But the story's all based around King Morpheus, who decides that kids are a little bit bored with their dreams. So he introduces some more exciting nightmare elements, and those decide that they have their own way of running Slumberland. So it's up to Nemo and his friends to try to do something about that.
I definitely appreciate the 2-day art style, because that's definitely something that helps stick out. You said it was all hand-drawn?
Yeah, it's all hand-drawn, it's all hand-animated. It's frame by frame for basically everything.
When can this be expected to be released?
We are trying to ship it next year, so late 2022. And you can find more information at littlenemogame.com. We do regular development updates. I do a weekly development stream, and then we keep a kind of development podcast about what we're doing at the time and our plans for building the game.
Perfect. Okay. And so is there a demo available to play right now?
No demo available yet, but we will be looking at options.
So yeah, promising looking game. Appreciate the hand art animation style. You don't see that too often. I can't think of any games that use that anymore. There's probably one in the last couple of years. So perfect. It's going to definitely stick out around the crowd. And yeah, that is it. So I am Craftyandy here at Origins. Till next time. Hello, I am Craftyandy here at Origins Game Fair, and I'm with Isaac, who's going to tell us all about his game, Gloomhaven. Isaac.
Hello. I will tell you all about Gloomhaven. Sure, it's a cooperative dungeon crawl game It's a giant box with a giant campaign. It's fully cooperative, so the monsters are automated, and the gameplay is that's the box. But essentially,
It's a pretty light load.
This is a big box, but it contains more ideas than it does bits of plastic.
It's a dungeon crawl that is more focused on decision making over randomness. So each character has a deck of cards that has various skills on them, and each round you'll be making decisions about what cards to play and how to use them. And yeah, it's just it's really popular with a lot of people.
So one of the unique things I noticed too is there's no dice rolls, none of that. It's all about strategizing with your characters as opposed to random chance. And I noticed there's a lot of extras to this too. So you have a couple expansions. What's the newest expansion?
So we came out with Jaws of the Lion last year, which is a standalone product. It's kind of the introductory version of Gloomhaven. You're still playing, all the normal Gloomhaven rules, but it's just in a smaller package, less intimidating. Essentially we found that the giant box was a little intimidating for a lot of people. It's kind of a life investment sort of thing. A lot of time, a lot of space, a lot of money. So we created a smaller product that has obviously a smaller box size, smaller price point, but also easier setup. So you play just in the book itself. So you just open up the book and that's the map. And then also there's a really good tutorial to kind of lead you into the game, so it's easier to pick up the rules.
Right, so you were smaller entry point to work your way up to the larger one, the more dedicated one. That makes sense. And who's are you the brainchild behind this whole design and everything?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I'm the designer, owner of the company. Yeah, so I designed all these games.
How long have you been around?
Well, I'm 39 years old.
Oh, I meant how long has this game been out, I should say?
So Gloomhaven came out in 2017. It's about 4 years old now, 4.5. PYE Games has been around a little bit longer. We had one published title before that called Forge War that came out in 2015.
And where can they find any more information on Gloomhaven and the other games like it?
Sure, yeah, you can just go to cephalofair.com. So the company is CraftyArts Games, and there you can find all our various products and information on it.
So that's Isaac on Gloomhaven here at Origins. Check them out. Hello, I'm Craftyandy here at Origin Game Fair, and I'm here at the store of Dragon's Lair, and I'm with
Phil Seward, David Wheeler.
And so what is this game store all about?
Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy is a franchise that dates back to 1986. David is the franchisor, actually ran the stores up until about 2017 and started franchising. Franchised 4 stores in Texas, and I'm his first store outside of Texas to stand up here in Columbus, Ohio. And we're mainly about community. One of the things, besides selling board games and comics and everything around it, we really like to connect with the community and build the community for the stores and for everyone else.
Game boards or figures, you also have events, community events as well?
Weekly events, nightly events, and we're also reaching out to other non-game, so game-adjacent communities. We're going to be running how to build nights using cosplay Warbler and Kydex nights, learn to paint nights. We actually have a house miniatures painter who's going to not only do some of our work, but help people learn how to paint miniatures. We 3D print miniatures. We sponsor a few patron artists and bring in their stuff to the store. And if they bring us files, we'll print them at the store for time and materials, and we'll help them paint them.
So a true grassroots organization and helping others build up from there too.
Exactly.
Awesome. So I know there was another game that you have around here, Artemis.
Yes.
So did you want to talk about that? What was that? What is Artemis about?
So Artemis is the Artemis Starship Bridge Crew Simulator. It's an old school LAN game. And it might sound familiar franchise-wise to say each player plays a role. Helm, weapons, engineering, comms, science. And they work together in a co-op LAN simulation, each with a PC, networked together with a main view screen, and a captain helps guide them on missions through space. Not quite a 5-year journey, about a 45-minute journey, in order to explore that. So we're going to run that initially quite often during the store, but as things settle in, It's going to be one of our RPG adjacent games that we run on our RPG night.
Foot shields at 0%, sir.
Whoa!
Damage control teams have taken heavy casualties. Oh,
Captain, they're willing to surrender, but they're already dead.
Was there any particular specific games you wanted to showcase that we have lined up here? Or?
Oh, we happen to have on the table behind us, we're featuring both Saga Age of Magic. Saga is a system that does Age of Insert. They have Age of Vikings, Age of Crusades, but they added an Age of Magic that adds sorcerers, beasts, and monsters to the game. And it's kind of a interesting system in that they're miniature agnostic. So you can dust off your old collection from wherever it was, bring it onto the table as long as it fits the archetypes of Lords of the Underneath, Great Kingdoms, Forces of Nature. And as long as your models fit that archetype, it works for the game system. We also have Stargrave, which is the sci-fi version of Frostgrave, which is also a miniatures agnostic game rule set where you play a crew of 10 from a spaceship that's out scavenging the universe. Your characters get to experience and level up every time you play. My army happens to be a 3D print of some Star Wars characters that may be scavengers in little brown robes in our short. And that game system, you grab information objectives and physical objectives, get them off the board to get points, level up your characters. And again, it's miniature agnostic. So folks will bring things from Necromunda or other game systems that don't really see a lot of play at stores anymore. Right. We're hoping to get those back out and get people into a new game.
Oh, perfect. And with technology being as scarce it is right now, people are going to be starting to pour back into these types of stores too, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could tell that Phil loves what he is going to be selling. So that matters a lot. We're gamers and comic book readers as well as store owners. So we love what we do.
That's the way to be. All right, well, that is Dragon Slayer. And oh, yes, and where can we find you? Like website-wise, store-wise?
Yeah, absolutely. So the store website is D-Layer Columbus North, but the main page that can take you to all of our stores is dlair, DLAIR.net. Will take you to all of our stores.
Perfect. All right, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, gentlemen. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the con.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, yeah, of course. Have a nice day. Like, subscribe, share, give me ideas for topics and or art in the comments or email me. CraftyAndy Patreon for high-res art, files, and sketchbook, and early episodes. Also CraftyAndy under the Art Pal store for prints and art gallery. Streams on twitch.tv/CraftyAndy live. Check for scheduling, gaming, art making, and live commentary. This channel is mainly focused on entertainment and art, but if you want some real weirdness, go to the Weirdzords channel. Check that out. There is also an invite in the description for our Discord group. You can meet other creators such as myself, live streamers, gamers, artists. It's all there. Like, subscribe, share. As I said, good day. CraftyAndy here at Origins Game Fair, and I'm sitting down here with Chris, who's going to tell us all about his game. What is your game, Chris?
So our game is Collapsus, a block crunching puzzle game unlike anything you've ever played before. More or less, it is a gravity manipulation, resource managing puzzle game where you shift the direction of gravity to make blocks fall in different directions. We have up to 8-player online and local multiplayer, all kinds of different challenge modes, over 50 accessibility options for disabled players, all that kind of good stuff that the gamers love.
So how long has it been in development?
So this version of the game has been in development since around 2015, 2016. There were prototypes for it without rotation, where it was just a puzzle game, since around 2006 or so, I want to say. But it's been a long while, but we're happy to finally be able to show it off all over the place. Thank you.
All right, yeah, if you want to do a little demo here, we can do that.
I can just play it ambiently. So more or less, you tap any block to destroy it. All the blocks above fall to take its place. Every tap you make uses one of your resources. When you run out of those, it's game over. And like I said, you can change the orientation of the device or your screen if you're playing on something that doesn't have rotation, like an Xbox or a PS4, and you're wanting to make rows or columns of 4. So like, I don't know if you can actually see this with how zoomed in it is, but if I destroy that one, I'll make a row of 4. I use the resource to tap and I get it back. And you basically just play as long as you want until you game over.
All right, and there's different game modes as far as like different challenges, objectives, that sort of thing too.
We have 30 different challenge modes which add different rules. One of my favorites is called Chroma, which adds blocks that are split diagonally between 2 colors. We also have 300 single screen puzzles, where normally, like if I break a block here, blocks will come off screen, but in the puzzles that's not the case. You just have to use a limited amount of resources to completely clear the screen as best you can. So we have 300 of those, as well as 1 sent to your device every single day after we launch.
Right, so it's coming out for PS5, PS4.
So far PS4, no word on PS5 yet. That's a publisher thing. Xbox, Switch, all major mobile devices, including Fire Tablet, as well as Steam, so Mac, PC, and Linux.
When can we expect to see this out?
Soon, TM. We're working really hard on a new version of it. The pandemic has kind of eviscerated any plans we had on a release date, but we're working really hard on it, and we're excited to get it into people's hands.
How big is the team?
The team at Wraith is around 12 people on and off, working on different aspects of development. The core team for Collapsus is around it flows between 4, 5, and 6 people. But we're a little family. we love the stuff that we make, and we're excited to work on it.
Yeah, there's great traits to have too in making a game like this. Well, there you have it. That's Chris with Collapsus here at Origin. Have a nice day.
Take care.
Like, subscribe, share, give me ideas for topics and or art in the comments, or email me. CraftyAndy Patreon for high-res art, files, and sketchbook, and early episodes. Also CraftyAndy under the Art Pal store for prints and art gallery. Streams on twitch.tv/CraftyAndy live. Check for scheduling, gaming, art making, and live commentary. This channel is mainly focused on entertainment and art, but if you want some real weirdness, go to the Weirdzords channel. Check that out. There is also an invite in the description for our Discord group. You can meet other creators such as myself, live streamers, gamers, artists. It's all there. Like, subscribe, share. As I said, good day.